NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Los Angeles Raiders versus the San Diego Chargers.
And for the first time this season, Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego is sold out. 60,000 on hand to watch the Chargers and Raiders renew their longtime rivalry. Fred Rogan along with Todd Christensen. The event may be the Raiders and Chargers, but on this Sunday, number 7, Todd, the story is the running backs. Bo Jackson here in San Diego.
Fred, it's kind of a Douglas MacArthur thing around the league. Many of the running backs have returned. Ickey Woods on Monday night is going to return for the Cincinnati Bengals. Dickerson today in a relatively successful debut for the Colts. And, of course, as you mentioned, Bo Jackson. But I think a lot of the story has to center around the people that are going to perform today on the field. You're going to be looking at Marcus Allen. On the other side, you have someone by the name of Marion Butts, who is second in the NFL in rushing.
How much do you think we will see Bo Jackson in the game today, Todd?
Well, you know, in some of his debuts before, they were a little bit reticent to use him. But again, you know, they're paying him an awful lot of money, Fred, and I got to figure that they want to get a return on their investment. So I could see him playing at least a half today.
Bo Jackson getting ready on the sideline. He has had impressive debuts each time he has started his fall hobby playing football. The Chargers have won the flip, and they will receive. Kicking off for the Raiders is Jeff Jager, and back deep for the San Diego Chargers, Nate Lewis and Donnie Elder. We're underway. 91 degrees at game time from San Diego, and it's Elder bringing it out of the end zone. Up over the 15-yard line, and that is where the Chargers will start. First and 10, and now there's some extracurricular activity very early on. This rivalry has been one of the longest in football, and they always sell out. 15 straight years they have sold out down here in San Diego.
Well, Elvis Patterson's a former Charger, and he made a terrific play there to nail the guy inside the 20, but he made a mistake there. I'm not sure I want to take on Richard Brown, who's some 40 pounds and 5 inches larger than he is. But then again, Elvis hasn't backed down from too many people. If you'll recall his days with the New York Giants when he had the nickname Toast, he was still able to go out there time and time again. And you know, when I talked with him, he said, you know, Fred, that was way blown out of proportion. It was only 4 or 5 touchdowns. But if you recall the Giants during their Super Bowl years, they shut everybody down.
Billy Jones Oliver, struggling this season, ranked second to last in the AFC quarterback standings, calling the signal for the Chargers. And here is the give to Marion Butts. Butts is over the 20-yard line before he is stopped by Bob Golick. Let's set the San Diego Chargers 2nd and 3. It's Butts. Marion Butts stays on his feet and picks up, or at least is very close to a San Diego first down. Lionel Washington stopped him with help from Eddie Anderson.
I think that Marion Butts is one of those people that you definitely cannot arm tackle. He's somebody that can make secondary people look bad, and the last thing you want to do is you want that 245-plus pounds into the secondary when 180 and 190-pound people have to take him on.
6'1", 248. He's got a low center of gravity, and you can't stop anybody arm tackling like that. Just underway from San Diego. 13:30 to play in the first quarter. Chargers 1st and 10 from their 28. Miller and Early, the wide receivers. Tolliver's first pass. It's a screen to Butts. He picks up a block, stays on his feet, over the 40-yard line. Another Charger first down. Pick up of 14 yards for Marion Butts.
You know, Fred, I'd like to give you credit for being that smart. The very thing that you just pointed out is the very thing that made him successful, and that is that low center of gravity. Tolliver did a real good job.
Chargers moving 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. That's Derek Walker in motion. It's the workhorse Butts around the left side. Marion Butts chewing up 5 yards of crack on the ground before Mike Harden ran him out of bounds.
One of the more overrated statistics, excuse me.
All right, let's set the Raider Dean, then we'll get right back to you. Davis, Golick, Piquel, and Townsend up front. It is Robinson, Ellison, and Benson at linebacker for the Raiders. Now, when they go to the Bandit defense, Golick, Ellison, and Benson check out. Coming into the game, Aaron Wallace, Elvis Patterson, and Torrin Dorn. And you check their secondary, it's McDaniel, Washington, Harden, and Anderson. The floor is yours, my friend.
No, that's fine. What I was going to say is that it's interesting that twice now Marion Butts has cut to the outside at 248 pounds. You wouldn't think he'd have the speed to do that, but apparently he's been clocked at 4.55.
And here is Butts off right tackle. Inside the Raider 40-yard line, a pickup of 16 before Mike Harden wrestles him down.
Certainly going into the game, the Raiders had to say to themselves they had to stop some people in the run, and if this is going to set the tone for the day, then the Raiders are in trouble. As we mentioned, not just a big man, but quick feet, and right here in the secondary, this challenges the courage of Eddie Anderson to have to go down and go after him. Butts is off to a terrific start.
Let's point out that Mike Wise is inactive for the Raiders today, and Bill Pickell is starting in his spot on the defensive line.
Fred, Howie Long just came into the game here at defensive tackle. He's lined up now over the right guard.
Just activated. And first down, it's over the middle to the tight end. Walker's got the ball at the 15-yard line. First down, 21-yard pickup.
Fred, because of the success of Marion Butson running the ball, that's going to help play action that much more. Here we get a chance to see Billy Joe comes back on a first down play. The fake to Butson. Everybody's got to buy it now. Look at Ellison clear out of his zone, and he runs back, and that's where he's supposed to be. There's Walker over the middle with a nice catch, despite the fact that he has Eddie Anderson draped all over him.
When you throw the ball high, that's where Derek Walker wants it. 6'5", 244, the rookie out of Michigan, picked in the 6th round. And there is Howie Long, his first appearance in September 16th when he broke a toe. But for the Chargers, it's 1st and 10. It's Marion Butts breaking one tackle at the line and getting close to the 10-yard line.
You know, Fred, to come back to that Howie Long story, when we talked with Art Shell yesterday, we asked him, because of the fact that he'd been inactive for so long, how much do you think he's going to play in the game? And he says, oh, I guess he's only going to get 10 or 15 plays. But if Marion Butts is going to continue to run like that, I would say that game plan will be out the window, and Howie Long might be playing a lot more than 10 or 15 plays.
Well, we question the fact why they would activate Howie Long when they had a week off next week. It would be better to keep him out of the lineup and make sure he remained healthy. But obviously, in this situation, they're glad to have him back. Ronnie Harmon checks in for the first time today for the Chargers. And it's Harmon with the ball. Inside the 10-yard line, Lionel Washington cut him down.
Ronnie Harmon got kind of a bad rap when he was in Buffalo. 4 years ago, he was a first-round pick.
And be free agent before the season started. Clock running, 9:30 to play in the first quarter. 3rd and 5. Tolliver has time. Nobody open, so he threw it away. Charger offense stalls, and the field goal unit trots on.
I think it's too much pressure to put it all on Tolliver in that situation. The Raiders crossed him up a little bit. You would assume that inside the 10-yard line, they'd have gone man-for-man coverage, but they didn't. They backed into the end zone with a zone. Tolliver did a good job just getting rid of the ball.
27-yard field goal attempt by John Carney. Started the season with the Chargers, was cut, signed with the Rams, kicked the ball off one time for Los Angeles, re-signed 2 weeks ago by the Chargers. Out of the hold of John Kidd. And he's perfect. Chargers take the opening kickoff, move the length of the field. Thanks to John Carney, have opened a 3-0 lead over the Raiders. Offensive line, inexperienced to a great degree. They have to be feeling pretty well that they handled the Raider defensive unit as well as they did on that first drive.
I think you're right. When we had a chance to talk with David Richards yesterday, he was talking about how impressed he was with the defensive line and the Raiders. And they were a little bit intimidated, but as you mentioned, to go some 80 yards in this first drive and to come out with a score, those young people have to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
And there's Dave Adolph talking with the Raider defense.
Jerry Robinson and Mike Harden are keys. The outside linebacker and the strong safety, they are keys to stopping the running game.
John Kearney will kick it away for the Chargers. Ron Brown and Jamie Holland deep for the Raiders. And it is Holland coming out of the end zone. And not a very wise decision. Stopped shy of the 15-yard line. Cedric Figueroa.
That was not a good decision to come out of there, but I'm excited because I finally get to say this. I wonder how many people have sung The Barber of Seville to Cedric Figueroa.
There it is. All right, Raider offensive line. Watch number 60, Rory Graves. He is going to have the unenviable task of trying to keep Leslie O'Neal off quarterback Jay Schrader. We'll check backs and wide receivers for the Raiders. Jay Schrader, top-ranked passer in the AFC. Allen and Smith in the backfield. Galt Fernandez, the wideouts. It's Ethan Horton at tight end. And when they throw the ball, Tim Brown comes into the ball game for Steve Smith. Raiders starting 1st and 10 from the 14. Allen to the 20-yard line. Here's how San Diego will line up defensively against the Raiders. There's the front seven. The key, Lee Williams, 99. Outstanding defensive end. And keep your eye on Junior Seau, inside linebacker as well. He'll be moving a great deal, the rookie out of USC. Now they're banged up in their secondary. Donald Frank starts. Sam Seal Martin Bayless, and Gil Bird is playing for the injured Bensie Glenn, so Bird is out of position, and Donald Frank is playing where Gil Bird normally would be. We'll see if the Raiders go after number 27 side.
I don't understand that move. I think the cornerback position is much more vital than free safety.
On 2nd and 4, it's Allen. Sidesteps one tackler and picks up a Raider first down over the 25-yard line. He lost the ball, but it was blown dead. Henry Rowling on the stop.
One of the players that we get a chance to when we talk around the league, one of the things that I've felt constantly is that one of the most overrated statistics in professional football is the 40 time. Yesterday we had a chance to talk with some of the people, David Richards in particular, talking about lateral speed. Marcus Allen still has maintained his lateral speed at 30 years of age. The ability to make the cuts on a dime and to avoid tacklers. It's all well and good to have that terrific 40 speed, but the game is a 10 to 20 yard game, and his ability to avoid those tacklers, make those 5 and 6 yard games, is tantamount to success in the running game.
Marcus Allen leading the club in rushing. Picks up the first down. And the Raiders moving on 1st and 10. Markers on the play as Schrader goes for his first pass and underthrows Ethan Horton. Keep in mind, a marker is on the play. Our official, Jerry Seaman, today. The Chargers are going to be flagged for offsides.
3 words: give me the ball.
7:35 to play in the quarter. 1st and 5. He got the ball and is close to the 35-yard line. All right, let's catch up on scores from around the league. 10-minute ticker time. We mentioned Denver knocked off Indianapolis. Buffalo eking one out over the Jets.
In that Washington game, we had a chance to see that Chip Lowmiller had a field goal in his 26th straight game, 5 short of the record.
Dallas coming from behind to beat Tampa Bay. Houston over New Orleans.
Aikman had a touchdown the last 23 seconds. Touchdown pass to Michael Irvin.
These games in progress. And the Rams in Atlanta no score. On 2nd and 1, Schrader with time, long ball. Willie Gault, the intended receiver. Instead, he picked off the official.
That's a very strange call. I know what the idea was, and that's to go up top and to change things up. But usually on 2nd and 1, if you want to go back to the old Bart Starr Green Bay days, he was terrific at that, taking a chance and going deep. He had no underneath receiver in that situation, and that's why he had to throw the ball out of bounds.
Head coach Art Shell of the Raiders, unbeaten at home, 10-0 on the 6th. On the road, I should say, it's been a different story, 2-6.
Fred, if you believe the old adage in baseball, I think it really applies in football too. That is that you got to play 500 on the road and win at home. If he was 500 on the road, well, you know, he'd have a terrific record there, 10-0 at his place, Black Bottom.
5 defensive backs in the ball game for the Chargers. And now Schrader doesn't like what he sees and calls a timeout. 6:51 to play in the first quarter. It's 3rd and 1 when we come back.
Is the fact that this is what he wants to do. He's not interested in being that successful in just one thing. He wants to be unique.
Bo Jackson is on the sideline now. Marcus Allen, the man in the ball game, on 3rd and 1 from the 35-yard line. Raiders with 2 tight ends in the ball game. Broken play. Schrader stuck with the ball and he loses yardage. He'll have to punt. Junior Seau forcing the action. Some miscommunication in the backfield.
That was a miscommunication all around. You could tell by the way he got the snap that everything was discombobulated. Art Shell can't be too terribly happy about that. Look how unsure he is. Look at that. Oops. He's not even sure he was supposed to get the ball on that count. And right back there, you can see that both Marcus and Steve Smith are in the same vicinity. He doesn't know who to hand it off to, and as a result, he has to eat the ball.
They're lucky they didn't fumble that ball away. Clock is running. 6:30 to play now. Raiders will punt. Jeff Gossett in for his first punt of the afternoon. He leads the AFC. And Scott Schwades, signed as a free agent, deep for the Chargers. Send Schwades back to his 20. And he's run out of bounds. A 50-yard kick, an 11-yard return. 6 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the quarter, and the Chargers will have the ball when we return. The Chargers took the opening kick, moved 74 yards to kick a field goal and open a 3-0 lead over the Raiders.
Fred, one of the things that people might be noticing is that at home, San Diego was wearing the white. Now, a lot of that has to do with superstition, the fact that they've been winning with the white jerseys. But it also might be the fact that at 91 degrees, it's going to be a lot hotter on the people that are wearing the dark jerseys, in this case, the Raiders.
Derek Walker in motion on 1st and 10. It's Butts. That is one tough man to bring down. Took 3 Raiders. Finally, Mike Harden delivered the knockout punch after Butts got it up to the 35-yard line.
One of the things that running backs always tell you is make sure that when you go down, you're going forward. At 248 pounds and leaning forward right here, you can see that it not only takes 3 people to bring Butts down, but he's always going forward, getting that extra yard.
Marion Butts last week picked up the 3rd 100-yard game of his career.
Got a pretty good pace to do it again, huh?
Anthony Miller to the wide side of the field. And here is Butts, upended. Actually, Mike Charles was at the right place at the right time. He just tripped over it.
Still counts. It'll be a stat. He'll get an unassisted tackle.
Let's check the score on 3rd and 5. Ronnie Harmon is in the ball game for the Chargers, along with Quinn Early, Anthony Miller. Tolliver has time, and the pass is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver and incomplete. He was going over to the middle to Craig McEwen, but he couldn't hold on to the ball.
Good.
John Kidd didn't punt one time last week. He's well rested. And it's Tim Brown deep for the Raiders. Skying the kick. Beautiful punt. Brown at his 17. Not much room. 46-yard punt and a 5-yard return. 4:14 to play in the quarter. It'll be the Raiders' turn with the ball when we come back. Our story at Jack Murphy Stadium, Chargers leading the Raiders 3-0, and the Raiders' first drive with the ball ineffective offensively.
Well, a lot of that had to do with the fact that they didn't know what they were doing quite on 3rd and 1. If you have to call timeout 3rd and less than a yard, then obviously you're a little bit disoriented offensively, and Art Shell wasn't too terribly pleased with that.
Raiders now moving 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Smith and Allen behind Schrader. He's got Allen out of the backfield. Allen has room inside Charger territory. Marcus Allen, 30-yard gain. 1st and 10 Raiders.
That was a big mistake in the secondary by Junior Seau. Junior had him coming out of the backfield. For some reason, Junior was looking. Here you're going to get a chance to see it. Marcus comes over. This is just a flat route where he turns around. Where's Junior Seau? He's nowhere to be seen. Now he comes into the picture, and it's too late. Marcus avoids one tackler, and as a good runner always does, he makes a lot of people miss. Martin Bayless, the Chargers' leading tackler, has to get him before he goes the distance.
But Bo Jackson on the sideline. Marcus Allen, is he feeling a little pressure today, Todd?
Oh, gee, if I was making 7 figures, nah, nothing bothers me. In a more serious answer to your question, I'm sure he does. But here's somebody who has been a consummate professional.
On 1st and 10, it's Allen again out of the backfield to the San Diego 40 where he's dropped. All right, we are set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York at NFL Live. Thanks, Bob. Those cardiac bills doing it again. And here at Jack Murphy Stadium, Bo is in the ball game.
That was interesting. They gave it, you know, were those boos or boos? I couldn't tell from the crowd. I guess here in San Diego, you'd have to assume they were boos. Huh?
Well, he's got it on his first play, and he's not going anywhere. He's got to get his football legs ready.
Gee, you know what? My heart really skipped a beat there. He comes in the first play, and they give him the ball. Gosh, color me shocked, huh?
All right, here's a look at what Bo has done in his first game each season.
Well, you know, Bo doesn't have the luxury of working his way into it. You notice there, particularly in 1988, they went right to 21 carries. But Bo maintains the fact that the 10 days off that he gets from baseball is plenty of time for him to get ready and play football. And truth be known, this is one of the other reasons why training camp is a no-brainer, a waste of time. Here this guy comes in with fresh legs. He's ready to play.
Third down and 2 from the 40-yard line. Jackson and Smith in the backfield. Schrader over the middle to Fernandez. He's got the ball. He's got a first down. Mervin Fernandez really popped. 14-yard pickup for the Raiders.
Mervin continues to show the courage that he has going across the middle. Now, I wonder if when he was down, the officials don't have an issue with it because they say the ball popped out too late. This is what they call a two route. He just slants to the middle of the field. He knows he's going to get hit here. 3 different people right there, and yes, that's a good call. He was down.
Last week he got popped pretty well in the end zone against the Seahawks.
Well, what happens here is that you get used to landing on your elbows or your knees. He lands right there. You can see it. Right there he lands in his buttocks, and that hurts.
Tim Brown checks into the game at wide receiver to the near side of the field for the Raiders. First and 10 from the 25. A minute to play in the quarter. The quick out completes a Galt, and Sammy Seal was right on him. Short gain on the play for Galt. Clock continues to run. 40 seconds to play in the quarter.
The Raiders are doing a good job. When we talked with Mike White, he said that there was a conscious effort to get Willie Galt involved in the short passing game. In his first 7 years in the league, Willie Galt was pretty much known as a long ball threat. He wasn't somebody that could come underneath or go across the middle and get you big first downs. But as witnessed by last week when he made some big catches for first downs against the Seahawks, he's doing it again, at least so far this week.
Marcus Allen checks back in. Bo Jackson is out on 2nd and 5. Schrader completes the pass to Tim Brown, and they reel him down at the 10-yard line. So the Raiders pick up a first down on the final play of the first quarter. Chargers took the opening kick, moved down, kicked the field goal, and that has been all the scoring so far. After one, the Chargers lead the Raiders 3-0. Go Chargers leading the Raiders 3-0. Raiders are moving. Now, first and goal from the 10-yard line.
You know what, Fred? Tim Brown, as we're getting a chance to look at him right there, you know, hit the league with, with just pizzazz. He comes out as the Heisman Trophy winner. He's Rookie of the Year offensively. He makes the Pro Bowl, probably the best kick return in the league. And then he has a devastating knee injury last year. And I asked if his knee was okay. They said, yes, it's terrific. But Mervin Fernandez, we just can't get him out of the lineup. That's why he's not getting the numbers he had in the past.
Steve Smith and Marcus Allen behind Schrader on 1st and 10. Timing pattern. Couldn't hook up with Fernandez. Donald Frank had him defensively.
Jay Schrader, I would think,
This is because he doesn't know enough to be nervous yet in the National Football League.
I guess that's where the phrase ignorance is bliss comes in.
They try it again, and Frank stops him again.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is this deja vu all over again? It looked to me like it was the exact same play, and Frank had the exact same coverage and did a good job of pushing him to the outside. Not too terribly creative on the play calling part of the Raiders. Look at this. Inside move, cuts to the outside. There he pushes him out and says, no, I'm going to go back inside. Ball's gone. There's no way he's going to come up with it. This is a good job by Frank, who, as you just mentioned, I guess, I know nothing.
6 foot, 200 pounds, 24 years old. Donald Frank, a man who will be tested this afternoon and has been 2 times in a row. Now Schrader faces 3rd and goal from the 10. Allen the lone setback. 3 wide receivers in the game. It's Marcus Allen. And Lester Lyles on the stop for the Chargers.
Well, Lester Lyles came up and made a bit of a play, but actually what happened is Marcus trips over Max Montoya. This is a good call here. You have 2 passes that haven't worked. They have their nickel package in. Take a look right here. Now he cuts and he runs right over him. Look at if he'd have cut to the outside, he has a big play. He might even get in the end zone, but instead he runs right over the top of Montoya. And now the Raiders are going to have to settle for a field goal. That's not like Marcus. Marcus's strong suit is his vision.
24-yard field goal attempt for Jeff Jager. From 20 to 29 yards this year, he's been perfect. 2 for 2. And now make him 3 for 3. Jager's field goal ties the game at 3.
Just a stone's throw away from the Super Bowl. They're on the verge now of going 1-5.
All right, Jager kicks it away. Lewis and Elder deep. And Lewis wisely decides to keep it in the end zone. Back to the Steelers and 49ers, no Chargers just in his 2nd season. His coach Dan Henning pretty much considers him a rookie, though. Varian Butts the lone setback. And it's Butts with the ball. Not much that time.
You know, one of the points that I wanted to make regarding Marion Butts, we've talked about his physical skill. He was one of the people there at Florida State that blocked for people like Dexter Carter, who was the first-round pick of the 49ers this last year. He was pretty much a blocking fullback, and nobody really knew of his running skill until now.
Play action for Tolliver over the middle. The receiver was tangled up. Anthony Miller is claiming that Lionel Washington held onto him. The officials don't buy it.
I think he's got a legitimate beef there. What happens in that situation is Tolliver moves around a little bit, and the official has to decide whether or not Tolliver is a runner or whether or not he's remained in the pocket. Here you see Howie Long coming like crazy. Unfortunately, Butts was able to get a piece of him. Coming across the middle, there he stumbles. My inclination is when you see the defensive back put his arms up like that, like nothing happened, but there was a penalty.
Don't blame me, I didn't do anything.
That's right.
Always the signal. Now the Chargers facing a 3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line.
You know, as you get a chance to look at Anthony Miller, one of the things that the Chargers have to do is they've got to give him some help. It's all well and good that he's the go-to guy, but there have to be some other people out there to take the double coverage off him.
Tolliver had time and hit Ronnie Harmon out of the backfield, but he is stopped short of the first down. It was Lionel Washington wrapping him up around the ankles. So the Chargers will be forced to punt it away.
This is the Chargers to punt.
John Kidd back on his 13-yard line. Tim Brown awaits the kick on his own 30. He shanked it. Raiders probably couldn't have had a better return if they tried. Raiders will have good field position when we come back.
Averaging over 41 yards a punt. He has 6 inside the 20, but right here, it's like a golf swing or anything else. There, the swing of the leg goes through, nips the side of the ball. It happens. What can you say?
Let's remember, that's where the infield was in the baseball diamond. That has recently been resod, so it's going to be a little slick down there in that part of the field.
Well, you might be right, but I'm thinking that's a lame excuse. He just shanked it.
Bo Jackson inside the San Diego 30. Gary Plummer on the stop for the Chargers.
You know, I know that Bo is superhuman and Bo knows everything, but that run went a long way towards him, you know, towards helping his confidence. The reason I say that is because the man is human, and one of the toughest things you have to do as a running back is to take that first hit, to get acclimated once again to it. Because you can run, you can work out, you can lift weights, you can do aerobics, you can do all those things, but you can't simulate getting tackled in an NFL football game.
Jackson picked up 7 yards. He's the deep man in the eye here and takes the pitch on 2nd and 3. Tries to get around the corner and is stopped shy of the first down. Donald Frank ran him out of bounds. Todd, what about when Bo Jackson reports to camp in El Segundo? Is it a distraction for some of the players in the ball club?
Well, I think it is. You know, they talk about Art tried to minimize the fact by saying, hey, all they care about is if the guy can help the football team win. But of course, one of the things that people are very conscious of in every business is, hey, do the rules apply to everybody? And obviously in this case they don't. They're paying this guy $1 million to play 10, maybe 11 games. He doesn't have to go to training camp. He doesn't have to work out. The rules don't necessarily apply to Bo.
3rd and 2. Jackson stays on his feet and picks up the first down. Marker on the play. Check that.
That was his helmet. His helmet came off.
Well, they marked it with his helmet. That's what I meant to say.
Let me explain. The flag is yellow and the helmet is silver.
Oh, I thought he was so incredible that they'd mark the penalties with his helmet as well.
Here it is right here. You know, he plows into the line, and 222 pounds and 4.18 speed, he's going to push it backwards. Look at Grossman going his back. That's a result, not just Fitzpatrick blocking, but Bo's strength pushing that pile.
So the Raiders moving 1st and 10 from the 23. 10 minutes and 25 seconds to play here in the first half.
Now, is that a zircon or is that really a diamond in his ear?
Well, this is really a runner on the left side. 11-yard pickup for Jackson.
That was a good job downfield by Willie Galt to shield off Sammy Seal and enable him to get a first down. Interesting story about Bo Jackson's speed. When he was timed by Dick Steinberg, who was then the personnel man for the New England Patriots, he ran the 40 in 4.18. The fastest 40 time that had ever been run was 4.21 by Larry Burton, who was an Olympian in 1972 in the 200 meter. He said there's no way that this man this big can run that fast, so he ran it 2 more times in 4.17 and 4.21. The man can go.
And he's football fast too, as you pointed out. In the pants he can go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can get a lot of guys who can put on the shorts and run 4.4, but on a football field they're not fast. Bo is definitely fast on the football field too.
Steve Smith inside the 10-yard line. Lee Williams on the stop for the Chargers.
We get all caught up in talking about Bo. We talk about Bo. We talk about Marcus. We talk about everybody else and what happens.
What about that guy?
Nobody's paying attention to Steve Smith, and he busts through. Take a look at the left side of the line right here. Firing out, just a straight dive play. Good job on Les Miller there by Don Mosbar, a former Pro Bowler, to open up the gap for Steve Smith. Come up 2nd and 3.
Sort of the unsung hero in that backfield. He's the man delivering the blocks.
Does a lot of good things for the team. A great pass catcher. And his defensive coordinators that I've talked to around the league have said he's one of, if not the best blocking fullback in the league.
On 2nd and 3, Jackson trying to get around the corner. Touchdown, Raiders.
Fred, I don't want to overstate the point here, but I'm convinced that there are very few people. I think only Bo could have made that touchdown. That play was designed to go out tackle. And he cuts to the outside. They have the angle. He's there to be tackled, and he just has that burst of speed. This is one of the genetic gifts of Bo Jackson. Right there, he goes, okay, see if you can outrun me. Nobody can. Tucks it under his left arm. Good stiff arm there on Rawling. Tumbles his way into the end zone. Outstanding run.
So after an 8-yard punt by John Kidd, the Raiders able to move 6 plays, 35 yards, and Bo Jackson on the payoff. Jager in to attempt the extra point. A bad punt by the Chargers. The Raiders take advantage, and they lead to San Diego. And you talked about his ability to get into the end zone and the speed he had, Todd.
Well, this is designed to go off tackle. You can tell right here. He's going inside. He's blocking the middle backer. He's supposed to follow him up in there, and he cuts to the outside. Normally, you would tell a running back, you would say, hey, don't do that. Follow your blocker. But when you're Bo Jackson, you have the speed to get to the outside. Hey, do whatever you want.
Nate Lewis from the goal line. Marker on the play. And Lewis is over the 25 before he's dropped by Vance Mueller. Jerry Seaman indicating the penalty is against the Chargers.
Rushing yardage, nearly a 400-yard improvement in 3 years.
Chargers moving 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. Rod Bernstein in the game, and Bernstein has the ball. Bernstein 6'3", 238 in his 4th year out of Texas A&M. He was their top pick back in 1987.
A lot of people are wondering, where is Rod Bernstein? And they don't feel that he's there for the H-back position, hence the reason why he plays all over the field.
On 2nd and 3, that's Derek Walker in motion, and here is Bernstein trying the other side of the field, going up, and not coming down with a first down.
You know, talking a little bit more about Rod Bernstein, whether or not he can play full-time, the point is as a running back right now, he's been averaging 5.6 yards a carry.
And let's keep in mind that he is coming back from knee surgery. Here is the ticker again, and at Candlestick Park, the Steelers lead the 49ers 7-3. Giants over Phoenix 7-3 in the 2nd quarter there. Now the Rams are coming back against Atlanta. No score, Kansas City, Seattle. Here, Billy Joe Tolliver, the Charger offensive unit, faces a 3rd and 2. Clock running, 7:20 to play in the half. Win early in motion. Bernstein trying the left side. I don't think he made it. He was really stacked up by the Raider defensive unit.
He had to get to the 20-yard line. It's going to be close. It looked to me like he got a pretty generous spot. They had a little bit of a trap inside, and Bernstein didn't cut behind it. You'll see right there. See right there, 46, Caravella. He's supposed to cut behind him right there into the hole, but instead he chooses his own route, and he runs right into Thomas Benson. That was a nice block by Caravella, but Bernstein just didn't follow him into the vacated hole that was left.
From that particular angle, you could see that he got a very generous spot.
Very generous. Yeah, it looks like he's going to get it.
Home field spot. And the Chargers pick up the first down.
Caravella right there traps Davis, and that's the hole right there where he could have gone. A nice job by Cornish on Golick as well, but that's not where he went. He ran smack into Thomas Benson, but fortunately for him, the side judge was in a very altruistic mood, enabling him to get the first down.
Altruistic?
Selfless giving. Yeah.
Anthony Miller and Quinn Early, the wide receivers. That's Early in motion. Over the middle to the tight end, Walker. He's got the reception, and Eddie Anderson puts a lick on him. 23-yard gain.
I like to see that guy get the Y, as they say in terminology in football.
From the 43, 1st and 10. Up the middle, Bernstein into Los Angeles Raider territory and close to a first down before Greg Townsend on the hit.
You know, Marion Butts was very effective in the first quarter. Now it appears that Rod Bernstein is taking up the slack. I don't know if Butts is tired or what, but of course Bernstein seems to be going pretty well. There's the play that they had before. Once again, there's the trap block by Caravello. This time,
rushing performance of the season last week, 80 yards against the Jets.
Complaint there by Tolliver. He wants the 25-second clock put back up. He felt that it was running a little bit amok.
Los Angeles.
But instead the Raiders called timeout regarding how young they are, okay?
You know what, though? The Bernstein thing that you made a point of, I wanted to talk about if he runs again. Some say he has a lack of heart because you said jack of all trades, master of none. I thought that was great, but I think you should point that out, Todd, because that was a good NFL Live. Scores and highlights from around the National Football League. And our story here, 5 minutes and 26 seconds to play in the first half. Chargers are facing a 2nd and 1 from the 48. They have 2 tight ends in the ball game, Arthur Cox and Derek Walker. Anthony Miller is split to the wide side of the field. Play action for Tolliver. And now out to Bernstein, who avoids a tackle inside the 40. The clock continues to run, and another Charger first down. Back in the game is the lone setback behind Tolliver on 1st and 10. Trying the right side, and he's repped up by Tom Benson, 6'2", 240 in his 7th year. Originally out of Oklahoma, signed as a Plan B free agent.
Tom Benson also was another ex-Charger. You know, one of the things that we should mention here is the fact that the Charger offensive line average is over 290. But one of the things here pointed out is the fact that they're not very old. Only one player is over 30 years of age, and that is Darren Nelson. I think that to a certain extent, that's the way Dan Henning wants it. You know, he wants to have his own people in there. He doesn't want to deal with people who have been there in the past. And now they only have 10 people remaining from when he was the head coach starting in 1988.
Play action for Tolliver. Again, the tight end Walker wrapped up at the 30-yard line by Jerry Robinson. You know,
here in San Diego, Fred, they're used to having tight ends for the Chargers.
He moved into the starting lineup 3 weeks ago when Arthur Cox was injured, and they have not been able to move him out. Now both tight ends are in the game on 3rd and 2. Butts. First down and then some inside the Raider 25-yard line.
One of the phrases that you hear frequently is smash mouth football, and that's exactly what the Chargers are doing, as we mentioned.
Well, the story is 2:30 to play in the first half, and the Chargers are moving. It's Butts to the 20-yard line. You know, Todd, you were speaking about Dan Henning getting his people in here. They'll have the ball when we return.
This is definitely the kind of game the Chargers want. They want the game to go by. They want it to be a running game.
Ronnie Harmon in the game for the Chargers on 2nd and 7. Tolliver in and out of the hands of Anthony Miller, and he was popped by Eddie Anderson.
The ball was thrown just a little bit behind him. That's what's called a flag route, where he cuts just completely across the field. McDaniel does a good job of staying with him. They almost get kind of a pick situation here. There he is. He knows that he's cutting across the field. He waited a little too long. He's open here, but watch, it's just a little bit behind him. He has to reach back. He can't get it, and McDaniel does a good job of breaking up. He and Anderson make the hit, creating the incompletion.
It stopped the clock. 1 minute and 54 seconds to play. 3rd and 7 from the 20. Ronnie Harmon in the backfield, and the Chargers with 3 wide receivers in the game. That's Arthur Cox in motion. He wanted Anthony Miller and couldn't hook up. Set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas at NFL Live. All right, back here, 1 minute 50 to play, and this is a 37-yard field goal attempt by John Carney. It's long enough, and it's perfect.
Perfect. That was a cue shot. Came off the upright. He lucked out there.
Chargers score. It's 10-6.
And I bet his dad Art is really proud of him.
John Carney has supplied all of the scoring for the Chargers in the first half. Jamie Holland on the 5. Trying to get to the far side of the field. And Holland is out of bounds.
That was the longest run to the 18-yard line I think I've ever seen. It only counts for about 13 yards.
Marcus Allen, the lone setback as the Raiders play with 3 wide receivers on 1st and 10 from the 19, and it's Allen. Oh, clothesline at the line of scrimmage.
They only have 1 timeout left. If I was San Diego, I'd call timeout right now, and that's just what they're doing.
Timeout.
They need to stop the Raiders here, force them to punt and get some field position so that they can go down and score in the last minute.
A minute and 29 to play in the half. 2nd and 9. Tim Brown in motion. Uh-oh, movement. And Martin Bayless bolts through.
Now, Jerry Seaman jumped in there really quick and threw his hat down. I wonder what that was about. Maybe it was because he wanted to throw another flag but didn't have it. I'm curious because that was definitely unnecessary on the part of Martin Bayless. Martin Bayless this season is the leading tackler for the Chargers with 41 tackles and 3 sacks. It'll be interesting what Jerry has to say.
We have a false start on number 15 offense. I have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 44 defense. By rule, the 15-yard penalty will be assessed from their snap.
Needless to say, there are 60,000 people that don't agree, but this is the sort of thing that even Martin himself knows is unnecessary. Right here, okay, you see everybody jumps. Take a look. Okay, that's motion. Now right here, stop, stop. Right there, stop. Okay, he didn't stop. He took 3 extra shots at him. The crowd doesn't like it, but that's a good call, and I appreciate the fact that Jerry Seaman takes control of the game, like taking some chances here instead of just run out the clock.
Not the kind of play you expect from a veteran player like Martin Bayless.
Well, maybe expect it from a guy whose nickname is Bam Bam.
On 1st and 10, well underthrows Willie Gore.
Bayless was the one coming in to apply the pressure 20 times a game.
Marcus Allen, the lone setback.
Art Shell told me that if they're in a situation where they're throwing the ball 30 times a game, then they're not being effective offensively.
On 2nd and 10 for goal, it's picked off. Sammy Seal has the football for the Chargers. Brown is giving chase. Oh! Taking Seal down, but the Chargers with a big interception.
Man, an early shot at that, at a Douglas kind of hit. He threw a right hook. The play really was made, though, by Junior Seau. Seau put on some serious pressure, and look at him right there, jumping down in the middle of the field, waving his arms. Junior Seau's excited. Here you get a chance.
Now the Chargers are in business. 1st and 10 from the 44. A minute 10 to play in the half. A poorly executed reverse.
It was indeed. Scott Davis saw it all the way, even though Golick ended up making the play. You could see the hesitancy on that, and now they're going to hear, rightfully so, a few boo birds.
Well, the Chargers have 2 timeouts.
2 tight ends, 2 timeouts rather. Now they spend one of them. That's the inexperience of the quarterback right there. That's a major error on the part of Billy Joe Tolliver because he just cost his team nearly 15 seconds.
But Todd, to be honest and to be fair,
an audible call for Billy Joe Tolliver, and that's something that hurts them on the field.
All right, Tolliver is back. Unsacked. Scott Davis nosing through and dropping him on the 40-yard line.
That's 2 straight big plays for Scott Davis defensively, and it couldn't have come at a more opportune time.
A loss of 11 on the play.
Scott Davis is just going to come from the right of your screen. All of a sudden, there he is, down. He beats the left guard in this situation, Courtney Hall.
3 wide receivers for the Chargers. Tolliver. Incomplete for Miller. And you see the clock, 21 seconds to play. And remember, his last punt was only 8 yards and led to the Raider touchdown. Tim Brown awaiting the kick. Well, he got all of that one. Brown lets it roll. Tried but couldn't get there. Donnie Elder going all out to try and save that. Your local listings for the game and time in your area. NFL Live. We've got the lineup, and we've got the end of the first half. at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. Todd, your thoughts? F stats.
Not only running the ball, but taking some time off the clock. They feel like they can't necessarily match up with the Raiders man for man, but if they can get in a rushing contest, they like their chances of winning.
John Carney kicks it away for the Chargers and deep for the Raiders. 82, Jamie Holland, and 24, Ron Brown, the speedster.
Come on, Jamie!
It's Holland at the 5. The old right return once again, but this time he's got some room around the right side. And is finally run out of bounds by Donnie Elder.
I guess that's what we get for making fun of it, isn't it? You know, we're laughing about it, how it's going east to west. This time it's a good return out to the 32-yard line. Jamie Holland right here. This is, as I say, a right return, but he has to go a little bit side to side. But right there, he's able to outrun him. And nice block there on Lyles, who is the guy that made the play last time. Anytime you can get it outside the 30-yard line, you're doing a good job on the return team.
Raiders starting 1st and 10 from the 32. It's Bo Jackson starting the second half from the backfield. Steve Smith in front of him. The wide receivers to the far side is Mervin Fernandez. To the near side, Willie Gault. Jay Schrader, the quarterback. And on 1st and 10, Bo Jackson. Not finding much room. Henry Rawling on the stop for the Chargers, along with Junior Seau.
Junior Seau did a good job of penetration there, coming from the backside. His 4.5 speed is something that obviously helps him. As you can see, what happens is both the right tackle and right guard pull, and he's able to run behind them and make the play. Misdirection here, you can see both Montoya and Wright coming, and there's Junior coming from behind to trip him up and let Rawling come in and finish him off.
Pickup of a yard. It's 2nd and 9, just underway in the second half. Raiders leading the Chargers 10-6. And here is Schrader stepping up and going down. Loose football. But they rule him down.
The umpire calls him down. I have a hunch this is one that's going to be replayed. Martin Bayless is complaining about it, but both Jerry Seaman and the umpire step up to say no, he was down. This is good job in the secondary by the Chargers. Anytime he sits back there, and he has like 5-6 seconds. There you see Grossman coming in, but Fitzpatrick does a good job of pushing him off. There he cuts up field. Oh,
I don't know, Todd.
He's waiting. He's waiting for the official. He was smart right now. He'd snapped the ball so they couldn't get to it. He came up to the line of scrimmage. This is a check with me. They're not going to stop it. He got away with it. That looked like a fumble.
3rd and 12. Long ball, Schrader for Gault. He's got it. Willie Gault at the 23-yard line, a 57-yard reception.
Fred, the Raiders got away with 2 things right there. First is the fumble situation, and the second is, if you get a chance to see on the replay, Marcus Allen is moving forward. Look at him moving forward right there. That should be a motion penalty. That play should come back. Jay Schrader airs it out, and Willie Gault shows that extra gear that he has to make the catch, but it should have been all for naught because Marcus Allen is moving forward. The official didn't see it. The Raiders luck out there.
Sammy Seal, the man that Willie Gault beat on the play. Raiders on the 23-yard line. Willie Gault has been averaging this season 18.6 yards per catch. The longest one he's had was 59 yards before today. And here is Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson plowing ahead. Here we're going to get a chance to see the fumble. Jay pats the ball. He cuts underneath right here. Now he's decided, okay, here I'm going to run. Rawlings strips him right there, and there the ball comes loose before he's down. The official just didn't see it. The official right there was looking at his knee, but unfortunately he didn't see the ball come loose before he was on the ground.
We are now told that the reason they did not check replays because the play had been blown dead by the official. That comes to us from the NFL. They blew the play dead. That's why they didn't go to replay.
What are you saying? They have dog ears up here in the booth? They can hear the whistle from up here? What are you talking about?
That's the word from the field.
Okay.
3 wide receivers on 2nd and 4. But it's the lone man in the backfield, Steve Smith, to the 15. Junior Seau on the stop.
This has got to be a little bit disheartening for the Chargers. They start off, they're formidable defensively. They make a big stuff of Bo Jackson. I think what they have is a fumble. And then clearly Marcus Allen was stepping forward on that last play. That was a motion penalty that they got away with. Raiders have been awfully lucky on this drive. Clock running.
11.5 minutes to play in the quarter. Raiders are moving 3rd and 2 from the 15-yard line. Steve Smith and Bo Jackson in the backfield. Marvin Fernandez in motion. Jackson up the middle. First down to the 10-yard line, and he loses his helmet for the 2nd time in the game.
He might want to tape that thing on, but right there, earlier we had a chance to see Bo display that tremendous speed that he has. Here it's power. 3rd and 2, I've noticed the Raiders have been going to a lot of passing situations, but when you have Bo here, he cuts inside. Look at the lean he has at 6'1". A lot of times that's the kind of lean that's reserved just for guys that are 5'10 and 5'11 with that low center of gravity. But because he has such powerful thighs and the great speed that he has, he's able to lean forward, break the arm tackles, and get the first down.
Raiders 1st and goal from the 10-yard line. That's Fernandez in motion. The ball carrier, Steve Smith, Rowling on the stop for the Chargers.
Bo knows blocking? Nah. I saw him leading him in there. He kind of ducked his head a little bit and said, well, I'll throw myself in there and give the impression that I'm blocking him out.
Now, how does this team differ when Marcus Allen is in the ballgame compared to when Bo Jackson is in the ballgame?
Well, again, Marcus' forte is the lateral movement. Bo's forte is north and south. He has that great power between the tackles, even though obviously, as we've seen, he has the speed to get outside. One of the other things we might want to mention here is that Rory Graves has gone out with an injury. His replacement, Fitzpatrick at left tackle, 6'7", 335 pounds. He's been doing a pretty good job thus far on Leslie O'Neal.
Bo Jackson, touchdown Raiders.
Interesting that we would mention the fact that Fitzpatrick, and there's Bo running right behind him. A tremendous block on that by Fitzpatrick to open up the gap. That's the exact same play they had for the touchdown, but this time Bo didn't have to cut to the outside. He runs right behind the tackle.
Jackson 7 yards for the score.
Right here you see firing off. You can see Fitzpatrick cutting, and there's Smith blocking out on Bayless. He cuts right behind him. Look at Rawling being pushed out there by number 88, Ethan Horton, and that enables a big hole for Bo Jackson to get inside and score the touchdown.
Raiders move 68 yards in 8 plays. There you see Bo Jackson's numbers. Here's Jager for the extra point. Well, the Raiders start the 2nd half with a touchdown and now lead it 17-6.
Okay, you got to give me that shot coming out of Marcus of the long pass. If you've got it, only that one angle. All right, well, that's fine. That's okay. That's okay. Yes. Now, I don't want to see the catch, but okay. Okay. No, forget the fumble. The fumble's meaningless. Show me the penalty if you can. I got to see that throw. See, even... Well, let me see it now. Let's see it coming out. Something. Okay. Look at Marcus moving forward right there, and the ball snap. You got to call. Okay, good. That's what I want to see. Yes, it is. That's Greg Bell. So the next time when we have that graphic, you might want to put that up. You know, there's Greg Bell, and then there's the cost of the thing, and then we can also mention the fact that he was put on injured reserve to... Are you going to give it? Are you going to come out to the replay, or do you want to do it after the kick return? Let's do it after. Now do it after the kick return, please. Please.
Raiders are leading 17-6. And Jager to kick it away to either Nate Lewis or Donnie Elder. It's Lewis, and he'll bring it out 2 yards deep. Up the middle. Stop shy of the 30-yard line. Napoleon McCallum on the hit.
Fred, one of the things that was a big assist to the Raiders on that 8-play, 68-yard drive. Look at Mark trying to pick up the blitzer, but he's got to be standing still. This isn't the Canadian Football League. You can't get away with that.
This is not the Canadian Football League. Here is Marion Butts over the 30 to the 34. And now let's check the Hurts. 10 minutes behind now and lead the Falcons at the half. On 2nd and 5, Tolliver is back, trying to set up the screen. And the closest man to the ball was Frank Cornish, the center.
That was set up to go to Joe Caravello, but Mike Charles does an outstanding job at the nose tackle of seeing that Caravello is going in the screen. He was with him all the way, and that's all Tolliver could do. Take a look at 95 right here. He starts to rush. Then he sees 46 coming underneath, and now he's going to run out in the flat, and Tolliver's going, wait, who am I going to throw to? Who am I going to throw to? I just got to get rid of it. Townsend putting the pressure on.
So now it's 3rd and 5. Just under 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. There you see the story for Billy Joe Tolliver. And number 33, Ronnie Harmon, is in the ball game in the backfield for the Chargers. Has time, has a man, and he tries to crawl forward to the 1st down.
And boy, oh boy, another generous spot. Check this out.
Anthony Miller going inch by inch.
One of the things that wide receivers learn early on in their career is the whole idea of self-preservation. Anthony Miller is a speed guy, and he's not used to catching that ball in the middle of the field. You can see right here when he makes the catch, he wants to just go down to prevent himself from being hit. Instead of that happening, he realizes he's not hit, and all he can do is crawl to try and get the 1st down. And thanks to a very generous spot again, he's able to get it.
The Charger offense has not done a great deal of movement through the air. That's Anthony Miller's 1st catch of the afternoon.
Watch, he sits down right there. Nobody's there. 40. Torrin Dorn comes in and spots him right there on the 4, and it looked to me like the official once again gave him a spot that was a little too good.
1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Butts and Caravello in the backfield. Swings it out to Butts. Picked up a block. And is over the 45 to the 48-yard line before he's run down by Eddie Anderson.
Marion Butts showing that he can catch the ball as well as run with it around him, and as a result, Butts gets an extra 3 yards.
The man that delivered that block, 63, Frank Cornish, the rookie out of UCLA. Derek Walker in motion. Butts up the middle, 1st down. And inside the 45, again, it's Eddie Anderson on the hit. Now, Eddie Anderson is a hitter.
He's definitely a hitter, but I'll tell you who's hitting right now is that young offensive line that you alluded to, particularly Frank Cornish.
1st and 10 on the 44-yard line. Clock running, 6:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. Once again, it's Butts. He just won't go down. He's close to the 35-yard line. Howie Long on the stop. Marion Butts has carried the ball 14 times for 74 yards.
One of the things that happens here is when you got a powerful guy like this, you say, well, I don't want to take him up top. I'll try and get him at the ankles. But if you just throw at the ankles, the power of these legs is going to drive right through. Here you get a chance to see it. He's going low. I want to get a piece of his ankles, but every time you grab him, he's able to pull it out. For a guy that can squat over 600 pounds, you better do something besides just grab at his ankles. You got to wrap him up.
Rod Bernstein in the game now for Butts. That's Derek Walker in motion. Bernstein up the middle to the 25-yard line. Last week against the Jets, Bernstein broke one of those for a 40-yard score.
Well, if there's ever a time that the young offensive line is coming into its own, it's right here against the Raiders. Here you can see him firing off on the right side. There's Richards taking on the backer, and look at that hole for Bernstein. This is a good job of just coming off the ball, because when the secondary people are starting to make the tackles, you know that that offensive line is doing the job.
Rod Bernstein, 11 yards on that play in the ball game, 5 carries for 30 yards.
I'm noticing that Mike Charles is playing a little bit more, and the reason for that isn't necessarily because Mike Charles distinguishes himself as a good player, but they've got a matchup size-wise. Their front 4 right now, the biggest player that they have when he's in the game is Scott Davis, and he's get this, a mere 270. But if you have an offensive line that's averaging over 290, you've got to match up girth for girth, and right now, that's why they're playing Mike Charles a lot.
Bernstein on the carry, dove over and picked up 3. It's 2nd and 7 from the 25.
In fairness to the Raiders, too, Fred, they've had a lot of injuries on the defensive line. Their first-round pick, Anthony Smith, that they counted on, out with knee surgery. Mike Wise is also injured. They've had some problems up front on the defense.
Clock running, 4:50 to play in the quarter. 2nd and 7. Walker in motion. Bernstein Still on his feet. He's near the 10-yard line. Another San Diego first down. Lionel Washington dropped him for the...
That's a lot named Dickerson.
First and 10 from the 12. Bernstein. If it works, why change it? He's to the 10-yard line.
Right here would be a good opportunity, though, to get Butts back in the game, because these are the running back you do. But certainly Bernstein's done an excellent job of making that transition. I did it the other way around.
Tolliver to throw. Well, he looked for Caravello, but actually just dumped it. And there's a marker on the play. Holding against the Chargers. 76, Broderick Thompson. Bonnie Harmon is in the game for Bernstein at the lone running back. That's Anthony Miller in motion. Remember, he's caught only one pass. Not even close. Billy Joe Tolliver struggling, to say the least. Let's check the Hertz 10-minute ticker and get you caught up to date on scores from around the league. These are all early games. Now we'll take a look at the third period. Here it's 3rd and 18 from the 20-yard line. Arthur Cox in the ball game. And here is Tolliver stepping up in trouble. Bill Piquel buried him.
You can see Art Shell. He wants intentional grounding, but Quinn Early was close enough to where they're not going to call that, and they have to settle for a field goal. I think this is a major victory for the Raiders to hold them inside the 20-yard line. Here you'll see Tolliver step up, and the pressure starts to get to him right at the last minute. Piquel spins off, and he just has to get rid of the ball. Raiders do a good job preventing them from getting in the end zone. Good mixture of man and zone coverage there in the secondary.
The story on John Kearney, 2 for 2. He's already hit one from 37, and he'll try another from 37. Out of the hold of John Kidd. It's good. 3 Kearney field goals. The Chargers are hanging tough. Do you know who these two guys are? Yeah, we'll take a shot of them.
I love you, and I like what's going on out here.
Do you know who those guys are? I don't know.
Sam Berkowitz,
Okay.
George Karras.
I'll do those two.
I mean,
Okay. There you see the Raider brain trust, Al Davis in the press box, and on his right, Raider front office enforcer Al Locasell.
I love you. Just win, baby.
You do a good Al.
Thank you.
You do a good Al.
I don't think Frank Gorshin or Rich Little has anything to worry about, but
Well,
that's my win imitation.
and that's more than enough.
Keep my day job, is that what you're saying?
Please. Here's the kick. Holland. Oh! Hello! So Holland is drilled, and the Raiders will start 1st and 10 from deep in their own zone.
Let's go. Very good, thank you. If Grossman makes the tackle, we got to get to that line.
And the line is?
And the line is that he has interesting bloodlines.
When week, the flag is up. America's Day at the Races, the 19th Eastern, only on NBC. Jay Schrader and the Raiders moving 1st and 10 from the 16. The pass is complete to Willie Galton. He's knocked out of bounds at the 22. Give him a pickup of 6. Leslie O'Neal on the stop for the Chargers.
Doesn't seem like they've been throwing the ball that much. Jay Schrader was very effective last week in play-action pass.
He's now 7 of 12 with 1 interception. But the Raiders have gone to more of a conservative offense, Todd. Would that be an accurate statement? Thank you.
Pretty amazing, Fred.
Hey.
That's why you're a broadcaster.
Thank you very much.
That's only his 3rd interception the entire year, though. So that's a good stat for Jay, who every year in his career, except for one, had more interceptions than touchdowns.
Here's a pass to Mervyn Fernandez, which is complete in front of Gary Plummer. And a first down for the Raiders.
We haven't called his name much, and I think a lot of it might have had to do with the fact that in the first quarter, when he had that one slant route, he took a real good shot And really, you know, he hasn't been as effective as he might have been. You mentioned earlier in the game the fact that they might want to get Fernandez on Frank and take advantage of that, but thus far that hasn't occurred.
The numbers on Fernandez: 2 grabs, 26 yards. Clock running, 1:55 to play in the quarter. Raiders are moving 1st and 10 from the 33. Marcus Allen is flanked way out to the right side in this formation. Schrader lofting it for Horton. He couldn't hold on. He was juggling the ball but couldn't haul it in, and Lester Lyles made sure he didn't haul it in by popping him.
Jay threw that off his back foot. He really displays his arm strength there, but he'd have been better off to get his feet set and lay the ball in. You had an out and up route here by Ethan Horton, who had Henry Rawling in coverage, and that's what the Raiders want. You want an outside linebacker on your tight end. He's plenty open, but because he's thrown off his back foot, he couldn't quite get what he wanted on the ball, and as a result, he overthrows it, and as you mentioned, Lyles bops him out of bounds. Right on the fingertips. I suppose you could say that's a catchable ball, but again, if Schrader gets his feet set, he's able to lay that in a lot more comfortably for Ethan Horton.
Last week, Horton made 5 grabs against the Seahawks. 2nd and 10. Long ball for Schrader. He's looking for Galt. And it was nearly picked off by Lyles.
That must have been a predetermined situation, because completely on the other side of the field, Ethan Horton didn't have anybody on him, and there's 3 Chargers all over Willie Galt. I think Jay Schrader just decided at the snap of the ball, I'm going deep. You can see right there, he's not looking right at all. He's looking right at Willie Galt. It's a straight foot race, and he throws it up. Lester Lyles makes a good adjustment over there, but of course he was on that side of the field anyway. He's in that quadrant. He didn't have to look to the other side of the field because Schrader never looked to the other side. One of the prerequisites of being a successful quarterback in the National Football League is the ability to look off, because those safeties, both free and strong, are looking at the eyes of the quarterback.
3rd and 10 from the 33. Fernandez to the wide side of the field. Galt to the near side. Schrader intended for Horton, and he couldn't haul it in.
That was a good athletic play by Jay Schrader, and you can tell right there he's disgusted. He did a great job of getting out of the pressure here and running to the right and throwing.
Second punt of the afternoon. Schwade's deep. The Chargers. He watches it bounce, and it takes a bit of a Raider roll. Will be whistled dead at the 20. 46-yard punt. 17-9. San Diego will start 1st and 10 from its own 20-yard line. Marion Butts is the lone setback. Butts has had an outstanding day to this point. That's the tight end, Derek Walker, in motion. Here is Butts. Nothing going this time. Bob Golick there to make the hit. They called Bob Golick Mr. Torso.
Gee, I thought they called him Mr. Fire Hydrant. He was the one that had the great line about the fact that when he started in pro football with New England, he was a linebacker, which meant that he was up in a 2-point stance. Then he went from there to a nose guard in a 4-point stance. He says, this is called reverse evolution. I go from walking to being on all fours. He says, I've gone from human being to Cro-Magnon man. He's a funny dude. He's got some good lines. Pretty clever for a defensive lineman, I'd say.
Oh, for a defensive lineman. Ah. This probably will be the last play of the quarter. Marion Butts. Again, stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Greg Townsend was there for the Raiders. And that concludes 3 quarters of play in San Diego. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Did I detect a hint of sarcasm in that count? I see. Okay.
Be sarcastic. I won't do anything. I'll just sit here.
Nah, 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 nah.
I'll just wait. Oh, that's nice.
Ooh, touche.
That's nice.
Touche.
Okay. Okay.
Oh. That's on. Oh, no.
We're doing the Xerox 10-minute ticker again. See if you ever work on Rogan's Heroes, but down statistically.
Well, the statistics are fairly even. I think the key issue right here is the fact that both teams have scored 3 times, but in the Raiders' case, 2 of them have been touchdowns. For the Chargers, they've all been field goals.
To start the 4th quarter, the Chargers have it 3rd and 8 from their 22. Win early in motion. Oliver avoids the rush. tries to spin out and then drop the ball. Not what you would call an impressive run for Billy Joe Tolliver.
It was a great job of getting away from Howie Long, but you're right. Broken field running is definitely not his strength. We get a chance to see Howie brushes off of Richards, and he's going to come like a freight train, and you think he's dead right here. Tolliver avoids him and spins him completely around, can't get him on the ground. And here begins, you can see, if you look really close, you can see that Jerry Seaman is about to grab his flag and call delay of game right here, but he holds off. Tolliver with a spin move that you could see a mile away, and he gets stuffed.
Could have been the only time in history that a man was actually moving and been called for delay of game. John Kidd to put it away. Jim Brown is deep. And the ball is kicked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A 35-yard kick for John Kidd. And now it's time for the always exciting Xerox 10-minute ticker.
This guy's brought him to the playoffs every year that he's been the coach. I can't believe that they'd be taking that too terribly seriously.
Raiders 1st and 10 from the 40. Marcus Allen and Steve Smith in the backfield. Allen. And there are flags on the play.
Delay of game. Offense, still first down.
Well, they marked off 5.
Don't hold your breath for any Christmas cards from San Diego, okay?
You started it. 1st and 15. Schrader. Complete to Horton. Caught by Gilbert and Gary Plummer, a 24-yard pickup.
This is a bit of a makeup for the one that he dropped right here. This is a zone coverage, and he's going to run a corner in the zone. And what that means is that he has to settle down right here. He's between both Plummer and Frank in this situation. There he makes the catch and takes, a hit from Bird. He hits him from the blind side, and the ability to hold on to that ball that Ethan Horton did right there, that's terrific. Shows a lot of courage on the part of number 88.
6'4", 240, Ethan Horton. First reception of the day. 1st and 10 from the 40. Allen, ooh, cut down in the backfield. Nice play by Lester Lyles. The Raiders have 3 tailbacks that are being paid a great deal of money, and that's one of them.
You know, for a team that has no emphasis, as Al Davis has said, on the tailback, they're certainly paying them an awful lot of money. Greg Bell, you see there on the sidelines, has been put on injured reserve. I think a lot of the reason for that is to make room for Bo, even though they wouldn't admit that. His ankle sprain is maybe a week, maybe 2-week injury, not 4. $3.58 million. All of a sudden, I can feel my legs getting limber. What do you think? No
Never
limitations,
had
right?
Never had the speed. Schrader to Allen. He's inside the 30-yard line for another Raider first down. But now we are set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York with NFL Live. Oh, my. The caption may have been oi, but he was thinking much worse.
Man, talk about brain lock. Ouch.
Brain lock. Here's Marcus Allen around the right side. He's to the 20. He's got a block inside the 5 and finally down at the 3-yard line. Gilbert saved a touchdown. Nice play by Marcus Allen. 27 yards on the run.
Okay, Fred, so he is worth the money. We were talking earlier about that lateral speed. Here we get a chance to see it. He's about to cut inside, and then he cuts out right here. Rawling isn't able to make the play. Lyles comes up, terrific stiff arm by Marcus, and here he cuts down the sidelines. Now he uses the wide receiver in front of him. Remember, Fernandez does a good job of shielding out there. He's able to break a tackle and back up right here. Look at the stiff arm. He turned Bird's helmet right around. He was almost able to get in the end zone. Nice job by Marcus Allen.
7 carries, 46 yards. And the Raiders want a timeout on 1st and goal from the 3.
Raiders had too many people on the field. Vance Mueller came running in, and he didn't know what he was doing. And as a result, Schrader says this is not the chance to take a penalty and move back 5 yards. He wisely takes the timeout.
Todd, you always want the best athletes on your team, but do you need 3 tailbacks, all 3 that good? And can you find a place for them to play?
I don't think so, especially when all of them want the ball 25 times a game. But again, you know, it's this guy in the booth over here. It's his team, and they're 5-1, so you can't argue too much with it.
Kick off your night on NBC and play McMillions. You could win at least $1 million when you watch the super bloopers and new practical jokes. Then multi-award-winning stage, screen, and television actress Angela Lansbury stars in an NBC world premiere movie, The Love She Sought. And Burt Reynolds, rap artist MC Hammer, comedian Sandra Bernhardt go one-on-one. It's first person with Maria Shriver. Tonight, only.
That's going to be an amazing coaching job of Art Shell over the remaining weeks of the season to keep both those guys happy.
Do you think we'll see them in the game at the same time?
I think that's possible.
On 1st and 10, nothing going. Marcus Allen tried to go up but didn't come down in the end zone. It was Gary Plummer meeting him head on.
One of the things that's been happening with the Raiders is with Marcus jumping over the top, that's getting a little bit predictable. Now you see what's happening is that Plummer takes over the top and meets him head on. I think this is happening with a lot of defenses because they've seen Marcus do it time and time again. Now it's becoming so predictable that the linebackers are just bailing out and taking chances.
Gary Plummer, 6'2", 240 in his 5th year out of Cal. One of the hardest hitters on that defense. Played a little offense this year. Caught a touchdown pass.
Had over 140 tackles last year. That's nearly 10 a game. That's an impressive statistic.
2nd and goal from the 3. Play action for Horton. Henry Rolling was running step for step with him.
That play took a little too long to develop. Inevitably, what's going to happen is the tight end near the goal line is going to go to the corner. Here you'll see on the far right of your screen. Take a look. He's going to look like he's blocked, and then he gets off, and right now he's open. But Schrader has to put a little bit more loft on the ball. Because he's being chased, the best he can do is throw off the right foot and sidearm it, and that's not enough to get Horton the ball.
9 minutes, 41 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. The Raiders are leading the Chargers 17-9, trying to add to that now on 3rd and goal from the 3. Both wide receivers to the near side of the field. Flags on the play as Allen carries it in. But keep in mind there's a marker on the play.
If it's dead ball, it could be that they took too much time.
Illegal formation, number 66 did not report back to his position as tackle.
Fred, what's happening now around the league is because there are fewer and fewer tight ends on the roster, teams in this situation where you normally would have a 3 tight end offense, you'll see right there, number 66 on the far right has to come in and say that he is eligible. Steve Wright normally plays offensive tackle, and it might be a very small thing, but he has to come into the official and say, I'm number 66, I'm eligible, and if he doesn't do it, then that's what's going to happen.
Wright is talking it over with referee Jerry Seaman.
What he's complaining about is that he was at the tackle position, but the tackle has to be covered on the line of scrimmage by either a tight end or a wide receiver, and in that situation he was not. That's the reason for the call.
So this sets up a 3rd and 8. 3 wide receivers in the game for the Raiders. They've got to put it in the end zone. Schrader avoids the rush. Touchdown, Willie Gault.
Leslie O'Neal's disgusted with himself. He felt like he had the sack. Granted, Willie Gault gets the touchdown, but Jay Schrader makes the play. A very athletic play to escape Leslie O'Neal, and that's too much time in the secondary for them to have to cover people when they can run all over the back of the end zone. Jay Schrader fades back here and looks right. Leslie O'Neal is going to be coming from the left right there. He feels like he just misses stripping the ball. Schrader does a good job composing himself, and there's Willie Gault breaking off his route and going to the left. Touchdown, Raiders.
Jager in for the extra point. Raiders go 60 yards in 70 plays. They now lead it 24-9. Watching the Raiders score again.
When the receivers get the chance to break off their routes and do whatever they want in the end zone, this is the result. That's just too much pressure on the secondary to cover people zigging and zagging all over the place. They got to have some pass rush. Take a look at Schrader's reaction. He guides it right in there. You can say he aims it. He's excited. Punches the air. Touchdown.
Donnie Elder with a kick. Launched out of bounds. That's Jamie Holland, a former Charger, sending him airborne.
A lot of former Chargers on this Raider team, as a matter of fact. Here we get a chance to see that the Raiders have filled their roster with a lot of ex-Chargers. Napoleon McCallum, who was a former Raider, former Charger, now Raider again. Elvis Patterson, Thomas Benson, James Fitzpatrick, Jamie Holland, who just made the hit, Andy Parker, one of their best special teams players, and Mike Charles, the nose tackle. We also might want to mention here, Fred, that they also have 7 people in their front office, coaches and otherwise, who are also former members of the Charger organization.
On 1st and 10, Ronnie Harmon squirming his way to the 35 before Andy Anderson made the hit. Let's get you caught up on scores now. Games in progress, 10 minutes. Elvis Patterson is on his back. And while they tend to him, we'll step aside for a moment.
Vic, this is the speed thing, right? All right.
Back in San Diego, the Raiders leading the Chargers 24-9. And ladies and gentlemen, let's pass the baton.
Well, no, this isn't my microphone. This is a baton, and if the games were played with this, the Raiders would win every game. Al Davis is what you would call a speed freak, a nice speed freak, but a speed freak nonetheless. The Raiders have on their team 2 gold medalists, 2 members of former world record relay in Brown and Grady, Willie Galton, of course, anchoring it would be Bo Jackson.
And there is Ronnie Harmon spinning forward for a first down, an 11-yard pickup. Chargers going without the huddle now as they try to get back into the ball game. Clock is running, 8:40 to play here in regulation, and they trail 24-9. Tolliver, he's got a completion. It's Quinn Early, and Early is out of bounds for another Charger first down at the 42-yard line. Terry McDaniel on the stop.
Here's one of my complaints of the new rules right here, Fred. Once they get the ball set, the clock is going to start again. They get out of bounds in this situation. This really hurts a team now that's down by 15 points. I don't agree with that rule. I don't like that rule. I'm all for speeding up the game, and I understand that. But what is going to happen is you're not going to have the big comebacks anymore. You know, if you have to wait until 5 minutes to have the clock stop to go out of bounds, then what are you going to do? It's like if you're down 21 points, well, forget it. It's not going to happen because as we're going down the field in our 2-minute drill, we can't get the clock stopped.
In this situation, they marked it. Picked up enough yardage for the first down. As soon as everybody is set, Jerry Seaman's going to wind the clock. And off they go. In past years, the clock would not have started until the ball was snapped. So the Chargers, 1st and 10 from the 43. Time running short for San Diego. They need to score on this drive. Ronnie Harmon in the backfield. That's Anthony Miller in motion. Oliver with time. Great throw. He dropped the ball out of bounds. Whoa. Nearly a marvelous catch by Quinn Early. He went up but couldn't bring it down.
That was a good hit, too, by McDaniel to knock the ball loose. Nice touch pass by Billy Joe Tolliver, too, to deliver on that semi-out and up move. You know, in Billy Joe Tolliver's defense, one of the things that's a problem here is that the fans really have been looking for a replacement for Dan Fouts. I mean, it's so unfair to have to be compared to somebody who's a certain Hall of Famer. They keep talking about his youth. They keep talking about his inexperience. But it's really been unfair for somebody who has yet to play a full season to measure up to the expectations of somebody who in one season threw for over 4,800 yards.
On 2nd and 10, Tolliver being chased. There's a marker on the play, and the pass is complete to Big Arthur Cox. And that is one tough guy to bring down. 6'2", 277, 18 yards. But keep in mind there's a marker on the play.
Well, the play's going to come back, but as I look at Arthur Cox, I can't believe that we played the same position.
Wow.
He ran over some people, didn't he? That's a load, 277 plus pounds downfield. If I'm a 180-pound defensive back, I'm certainly going to think twice about this.
Holding, number 67 offense, still second down.
Going to get a chance to see right there on Piquel. They get a chance. Look at the left hand and tackling number 71. The umpire sees that clear as day. Every time that left hand comes out and has it around the body, whether it's holding or not, they're going to call that play.
You know, you were talking about Arthur Cox, number 88. I understand he is quite an accomplished horseman. 6'2", 277.
Yeah, and I understand that he's got an entire herd of swayback horses.
Here it goes again to big Arthur Cox. And Cox is knocked down at the 42. All right, we are set for another update. Here is Bob Costas in New York at NFL Live. Thanks, Bob. Here in San Diego, a completed pass. It was Billy Joe Tolliver to Anthony Miller, 24 yards, and the ball is spotted at the 16, where it is 1st and 10 for the Chargers.
This is a terrific catch by Miller right here. When he goes to the corner, they have kind of an in and out situation. They have him doubled. Now he has to throw it on the seam. Now watch when he makes the catch. It's right on top of the helmet right there of Washington. To be able to hold on to the ball and to get hit from two sides like that, that's a terrific athletic play by Anthony Miller.
If you were going to pick a receiver in the league today, Jerry Rice would be one, and certainly Anthony Miller would be another. If you were starting a ball club, Anthony Miller has been rather silent this afternoon. Here on 1st down, it's Ronnie Harmon.
Don't put that much pressure on him just yet. I don't think there's anybody in the league that you can quite compare to Jerry Rice just yet.
I'm not saying compare him to Jerry Rice, but I'm saying he is certainly going to be in a league with Jerry Rice, and if you had to pick a second receiver right now other than Jerry Rice, he'd be a guy you'd go for.
I don't know. I kind of like John Taylor. Okay, let's argue.
No huddle offense. We'll do it when we have the 49er game. Here's Tolliver. He's got Miller. And Miller is stopped on the 3-yard line by Jerry Robinson.
I was talking to Otis McKinney, the assistant defensive back coach for the Raiders, and one of the things that he says they do now that they never did before, and that's zone inside the 20-yard line. You can see right here, defensive backs are just sitting in their zone, and Anthony Miller is wide open. He does a good job of just finding the dead spot and getting the 1st down.
1st and goal from the 3. Harmon stopped and a loss on the play. Aaron Wallace on the stop.
This is a little bit of inexperience. It is crucial for them to get in the end zone, and if it's going to cost them 10 or 15 seconds to make the right call, huddle up right here. Don't worry about that 10 or 15 seconds that you might lose. You've got to get it in the end zone.
Clock running, 5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Tolliver, markers all over the field, and Tolliver is dropped at the 5. Bill Piquel, one of the Raiders, on the hit.
I think Howie Long's anticipation was just a little bit too quick there.
No, it'll go against the Chargers.
Oh, there's no doubt that Howie encroached on both sides where they threw the flags. I think that's what they're going to call, and it should be offsetting.
Offside, number 75 defense. Holding, number 63 offense. Offsetting penalties, 2nd down.
You had it called, Todd.
We keep making reference to Billy Joe Tolliver as being young and inexperienced, but he's not the only one on this Charger team. 28 players with 3 years or less experience. And you know, the level of play in the National Football League, they say that there's parity and they say that there's an evenness around in terms of ability, but not experience, and that's something that you just can't replace. You've got to have people on the team that have been in situations like this, crucial 2-minute situations where you have to score.
With Quinterly in motion, here is Tolliver, and down he goes. Aaron Wallace and Howie Long on the stop.
Aaron Wallace was a 2nd-round pick out of Texas A&M, and he's one of those people that just has a knack for getting to the quarterback. He's not extra big and he's not super fast, but he's one of those people that for some reason is just difficult to block. We get a chance to see he just cuts right inside and makes the play on Tolliver. Takes an inside move.
On 3rd and goal from the 12, Harmon still on his feet, but stopped short of the goal line.
Great effort by Harmon there to get it close to the 2. Now right here, San Diego should huddle up. This is a 4th down play. This is crucial to score. Right now, Billy Joe Tolliver should have his group right there at the 10-yard line come up and say, let's huddle up, let's see what we're going to do. Instead, they cost themselves 20 seconds there by debating as to whether or not they'd called on the line of scrimmage or not.
And keep in mind, the Chargers still have 3 timeouts. Clock is running, 4 minutes to play. Now, you saw this at the end of the first half, Todd. Again, indecision costing them time on the clock.
Well, they got Marion Butts in the game now with Joe Caravello. I wouldn't be surprised if they run the ball right here.
4th and goal from the 2. Play action fake for Miller, and it's batted away. Dan Land was all over him, and the Raiders take over.
Fred, that's, again,
we'll talk about it when we come back. The Raiders will have the ball with 3.5 to play.
A shot of Bert Grossman when after the replay.
And it's why is that, right? Why would that
Why
be?
is that?
What time is it? We're going to be done early. 25 minutes. What is San Francisco?
Well, their game's a no-brainer.
Their game's no better than ours.
Bo's in the game again. This would be a good time to really start the stories about Bo, a champion, all these different things. Bo in the 3rd person, all that stuff.
5, 3, 2.
If you're going to run the misdirection play, you got to have a tight end coming underneath. This cannot be a one-man pattern. Billy Joe Tolliver comes back with the play action, but there's only one guy in the pattern, and that's Anthony Miller. And he's just got to throw up a prayer here. And Dan Land, who normally isn't even on the field, has terrific coverage right here on Miller. And the play goes awry. There's no way that should have been a one-man pattern. He's got to have somebody else to come off to in that situation, Fred.
So the Chargers moved 68 yards, took them 12 plays, used up 5 minutes and 41 seconds.
Here we get a shot of Bert Grossman. Very interesting. Bert Grossman was on the cover of Sports Illustrated last week, and he has some interesting bloodlines. His cousin is Randy Grossman, the former tight end of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his half-sister happens to be Margot Adams. So I'm surprised that he doesn't play wide receiver.
Now, why is that?
Well, because with those bloodlines, he's twice as good at catching passes.
But very impressive. And I hope you'll all join Todd in the Catskills next week when he opens for Shecky Green.
You're just jealous.
3:27 and the clock running. No, I'm really not. 24-9 the Raiders. Bo Jackson is in the ball game, Todd. What is it about Bo Jackson and playing on certain teams? He plays for the Royals, he plays for the Raiders. Neither one of these clubs that he's played on while he's been there have ever won a world championship.
I think that that's one of the things that really is something that it would make him a lot more fulfilled. You know, there's a lot of things that you can call Bo Jackson, but as yet you can't call him a winner or a champion. And I think a lot of that has to do with commitment. You know, with the Raiders, you know, near the end of the season, you know, a lot of times he'll be hurt, he won't be feeling so good. And so people question his commitment to the team and to the organization. Because if things go south for the Raiders, he can always say, well, you know, I got baseball season coming up. Or if he starts to strike out a lot and has a week where he goes 0 for 25, he says, well, I got the Raiders coming up. So people have to question sometimes his commitment as a result of that.
Here's a look at scores from around the league. These are finals. Games completed earlier this afternoon. And games in progress now. The 49ers cruising at Candlestick. Phoenix ahead of the Giants.
Phil Simms got hurt in that game, I believe. And look at the comeback of the Rams.
They were saving it up. Back to Bo Jackson, Todd. You're not saying that he's not an outstanding individual athlete. You're not making that. You're not saying that. But what you're saying are, as a team player so far, the teams haven't really performed.
Well, I think what happens is, particularly in the football part of it, if he gets any kind of slight injury, why does he want to play through the injury? Why does he want to do that when he knows he has all these other extracurricular activities, including baseball, that he doesn't want to jeopardize with a career-ending injury, whereas the other people who are integrally involved in football have to play through that kind of pain, have to go through the risks. Here's somebody that doesn't have to do that. And I think that that's where people sometimes would question his heart, because he isn't necessarily totally committed to one or the other.
Now you look at Marcus Allen, who is now on the sideline. He is a man that plays pretty well in this league. He's a man who was leading the club in rushing, and as you pointed out earlier, trade rumors. What goes through his mind now? Bo is back, and he has to take a back seat.
Well, I think Marcus is mature enough to just understand business is business. You have a unique situation with this guy, but nonetheless, that does not make it any more palatable.
3rd and 3 from the 9-yard line. It's Bo Jackson. San Diego timeout. There's Raider head coach Art Shell.
Fred, Art has gotten an awful lot of credit, and rightly so, for creating an atmosphere where the Raiders could be successful. Now, I really think that one of his greatest challenges is going to be, can we get Bo Jackson to fit into it? Obviously, today it's easy. You know, it's a novel situation. Hey, Bo's back. He's got a couple of touchdowns. It's great. What is going to happen down the line when there is going to be a little bit of adversity? I mean, I'm not trying to create a soap opera here, but that's something that Art is going to have to deal with, and at least for one day, he's done it quite well.
Kicking out of his end zone. Gossett. Schwades watches it roll out of bounds. 28-yard kick. Todd, when you were at the ball club and this transition would take place, Bo would come in, what was the feeling on the team? Was there any kind of uneasiness? Were players drawing sides, Marcus or Bo?
Well, I think the bottom line, as Art pointed out, is that you have somebody who is a unique talent. I mean, you can't deny the fact that this guy with his tremendous strength and speed, I mean, it's as if the genetic gods just poured out their whole bucket onto this guy. He is an athletic phenomenon, and you have to give him his due. It's just the logistics of it, the fact that this guy doesn't have to be committed as the rest of his teammates to what is happening on the field. And so that, I think, to a certain extent, can affect other people's mentality. The fact that they know that this guy doesn't have to pay the price, so to speak, as the rest of the players.
Chargers moving, 1st and 10 from the 38. That's Bernstein in motion. Oliver. Long ball for Bernstein. Gary Robinson was back there on the coverage. And next Sunday on NBC, be with us beginning at 12:30 Eastern, NFL Live. Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson along with Will McDonough. Then some of you will see Eric Dickerson and the Indianapolis Colts as they host the Miami Dolphins in an AFC East showdown. Others of you will see the Jets as they travel to the Houston Astrodome to collide with Warren Moon and the Oilers. And still others will see the Browns heading to the Bay Area to clash with Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. NFL Live, we've got the lineup. Billy Joe Tolliver today, 13 of 25, 165 yards on 2nd and 10. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to play. The pass is complete to Quinn Early, and he was stuck pretty good by Torrin Dorn. As for the future of the San Diego Chargers, Todd.
Well, you hit it right on the head when you said that not only the fans, but the organization has to have some patience. We have all these young people, and that's one of the things they're just going to have to wait and see if they can mesh.
We are at the 2-minute warning. Chargers have the ball, but trail.
No, we won't.
Which thing is that?
It's just the fact that, I mean, we talk all around it, we debate it, but what he's doing is unbelievable, you know. I mean, it's just, I mean, the guy, you know.
You have to give him his due.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
You know, I don't think I've ever heard anybody do a Raider telecast talk that much about the team and everything as we did there.
What are Everett's numbers?
Huh?
If you think we're beating it into a ground, then that's fine.
2 minutes to play, and the Raiders are on top of San Diego 24-9.
You know, we take a look at Bo. The bottom line is this. Chuck Connors did it for a little while. Danny Ainge tried it. Dave DeBusschere, Deion Sanders, Jim Thorpe, George Halas, even, and now DJ Dozier. The bottom line is that Bo Jackson is doing something that absolutely nobody else can do, and that is phenomenal.
Wasn't there a period of time where you wanted to play baseball as well?
Yeah, I did, but then it finally dawned on me what Clint Eastwood said in Magnum Force, and that was, man's got to know his limitations.
3rd and 6. Billy Joe Tolliver over the middle. Couldn't hook up with Anthony Miller. The Chargers offense has been just a little off all afternoon, especially that passing game.
Well, you know, Billy Joe Tolliver, we've mentioned a lot today. This year they drafted in the 6th round a kid by the name of John Freeze out of Idaho. Now, that wasn't a major college, but nonetheless, this young man threw for over 4,000 yards and had a touchdown to interception ratio of 31-8. Now, 6th round pick, you might say to yourself, well, that's not that big a thing. But one of the things that Beathard did in negotiating it is he negotiated with Dallas, gave up a 3rd next year so he could select Freeze. So Bobby Beathard is very high on John Freeze, and if Tolliver continues to falter this year, look for John Freeze to get a great opportunity to play.
Here's Tolliver's last gasp at this time on 4th down, and he's wrapped up, just barely able to get it away. Scott Davis wrapped him up, and Billy Joe Tolliver, after a long afternoon, is feeling the pain.
Scott Davis has made some big plays for the Raider defense. He's the one that snuffed out that reverse at the end of the first half that prevented the Chargers from scoring, and then he also had a big sack. Right here you can see that all Tolliver can do is get rid of the ball, or else he's going to get sacked. Good day for Scott Davis on the defensive line, and that's just what they needed with all the injuries they have had there.
A young quarterback, a young offensive line on the San Diego side of the field. You have to be patient.
And the youngest coach in the NFL right there. Youngest head coach, Art Shell.
On 1st down, Schrader giving to Steve Smith. Gary Plummer on the stop for the Chargers, along with Gil Bird.
That'll be a 40-second timeout.
All right, the Chargers use their final timeout. We'll be back right after this. Nancy. Credits.
To be their major AFC West rival right now, which is Kansas City.
There is Fernandez. And the give is to Steve Smith. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. The coordinating producer of NFL football is John Ferratzis. Today's telecast produced by Victor Frank, directed by Peter Bleckner. Associate Director, Ray Benassi. Our production associate, Sam Flood. Production and technical manager, Carl Geller. And our thanks to Dennis Mnuchin up here in the booth, keeping the stats for us today. Talking about the numbers, Bo Jackson, 12 carries, 52 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Marcus Allen, 8 carries, 45 yards, 3 receptions for 50 yards. Jay Schrader was 12 of 20 for 201 yards and a touchdown.
The words quietly efficient come to mind. Not overwhelming, but efficient.
Smith. Clock continues to run. 45 seconds to play in the game.
Bo wandering over, checking things out. He's saying, you know, right here, this is where I hit that home run. They get a chance to look at Steve Berline, somebody who has really had some problems this year. I mean, this guy has played some terrific football over the last 2 years, actually beating out Jay Schrader. But the byproduct of a holdout, and really I would say an orchestrated holdout by the Raiders. They didn't want Schrader to have any problems. They didn't want him to have any pressure. And so with Berline out of the way, his confidence, you know, gained in confidence. And right now, as we mentioned, he is the #1 rated passer in the AFC. But I mean, give Berline a chance now. If he's not going to be the guy, give him a chance to get traded, because there are a lot of teams that could use a quarterback of Berline's capabilities.
Define orchestrated holdout.
Well, he wants to. you know, if you're looking at a situation where you're behind the guy and you're making 1/6 of what that guy is making and then you beat him out, certainly you're justified in going in and asking for a little bit more money. But of course, all you have to do if you're the organization you've decided for Schrader is to say, okay, stay out as long as you want. And then by the time he does come back and accept it, Schrader is entrenched as the quarterback. And right now, he's not even second string. He's only doing the scout team. He's persona non grata for the Raiders right now. And for me, that's not really fair.
And the trading deadline is passed, so now all he can do is sit there and wait.
Well, that's got to be frustrating, too, for a young quarterback who had established, I feel, the last 2 years, the fact that he could play in this league. Now, as somebody who's a non-entity, his trade value diminishes because around the league they say to themselves they don't know whether or not this guy can play.
Okay, and a reminder, kick off your night on NBC and play McMillions. You could win. Has anybody won $1 million yet?
Not that I know of. Not in my family, anyway.
Steve Smith banging forward. Clock continues to run.
No tempers flare at this point. This doesn't make any sense.
There's 5 seconds left in the game. I mean, well, Dan Henning told us yesterday the thing that he had to avoid was having his team just physically beat on by the Raiders. They're bigger, they're stronger. He knew they could move the ball against him. And that's basically what happened. They simply wore him down.
Well, and some mental errors. I think really that the offensive line for the Chargers have been manhandling the Raiders at a certain point, going up and down the field, but their inability to put it in the end zone, particularly when they're inside the 20-yard line, is what was really a problem for the Chargers today.
The officials are separating the combatants on the field. Nine seconds on the clock. And this will be the longest 9 seconds of the afternoon.
Well, what happens is that, you know, you get some Chargers that really want some camera time. They see the thing going down, you know, and they say, doesn't make any sense here. It's kind of sad at the end. Let it go.
And it's gone. Art Shell and his Los Angeles Raiders come to Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego and score a 24-9 victory over the Chargers. Now let's go to Kansas City and Seattle. Jim Donovan and Joe Namath.